All right, here we go. Good morning, folks. It's Wednesday, September 30th, and today we're starting our first project of this school year. Now, keep in mind, I weigh projects the same way that I weigh tests. So if you haven't been in class and you're following this online, then understand that if you do poorly on a test, but you do well on a project, those two grades can help to even out and cancel each other. A project is your chance to show me what you know and what you're capable of based on the standards for this class. So if you throw it away and you do something weak, then you should not expect good grades. It's going to hurt you. If you can spend some real time and effort on it, then you should expect that your grades will reflect that, because this is not a small assignment. So in order to help this out, you guys are going to have class time today, Wednesday, September 30th. You're going to have lab time today if you have lab time today. Then tomorrow, Thursday, October 1st, you'll have class time then and lab time then. So you are going to get close to 2 hours to work on this project. You can spend more time if you wish, but 2 hours should be enough time for just about everyone to turn in a really decent project. You'll also have a little bit more time on Friday before the project is due. So I'll go over all of that, but I want to get across how important it is, how valuable this project is. So with that said, let me show you what it is. If you remember, we spent the last couple days going over the 8 characteristics of life. Here we are in our folder for this week, and here is the slideshow. Here is our information. Let's see if the formatting is okay. Apologies. Sorry, there's the folder. Okay, Living Things Project. So, in this project, the goal is for you to create a fictional organism, your own creation, that accomplishes 6 of the 8 characteristics of life. Here are all 8 listed. You get to choose what 6 you want your organism to be able to successfully do. What you're going to do is you will draw and color, and you can do this digitally if digital art is more your thing. You could do it by hand if you'd like to do it that way. If you're more of a crafty person and you want to cut out different layers of construction paper or whatever and then layer them on, I don't know, kind of like a scrapbooking type, that you can do that. I will also accept if you take a picture that exists and then you digitally modify it. But I don't want just a palette color swap. I don't want just some shading. I want to see that you really did change this to something that is completely your own. If you take a picture of a rabbit and then you take the antlers of a deer and you put the two together, that's not your own, that's a jackalope. That exists and has existed as a cryptid for hundreds of years. So that's part 1. Create your own picture. Then you're also going to write a paragraph, and it must be a paragraph. I will not accept bullet points. And you have to explain how your organism does the 6 characteristics that you chose. Then, of course, send me a copy of your work. This is going to be due by the end of the day, so that is by 2:56 in the afternoon on Friday. I'm going to be giving you folks more than 2 hours of class time in order to get this done. And so any day that you are late is going to take 5 points off your score. Now, I want to point out that counts the weekend. Given the amount of time that I am giving you to get this done, there is no reason that you should need the weekend unless you haven't spent your time well, in which case you will be penalized points for not spending your time well. So here is our class and lab time, Wednesday, Thursday, and once again, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time on Friday too. And here is our grading rubric so that you can follow along and know exactly where you are and what grade you are going to get. If you do 5 characteristics of life instead of 6, you're going to get 1 point for the characteristics of life because it's less than 6. If you do 6 and they're there, then you're looking at 3 points. They're explained well enough for our basic credit. If you want to get 5 points, you're going to have to do more than 6 with good, reasonable explanations about how the organisms accomplish each of these characteristics. For our picture, obviously it scales up as I can see more detail, more work that was done, a better show that you understood what your organism was and the characteristics it would need. If you say that something burrows underground, I had better see traits on the animal that suggest that it burrows underground. Humans do not burrow underground with our weak, long little fingers. You have to look at animals that do burrow to see what kind of traits they have. So make sure, to the best of your ability, that those things line up, especially with the characteristics that you explain. Now, the organism traits, this is the one that is really saying, all right, for every characteristic of life, do you have a trait on the animal that's showing me that? And this varies a little bit, but I want to point out things like cells and DNA. You may sit there and go, well, I can't show cells. I'm showing the whole animal. Sure you can. Give me a little inset, a little picture, like we've zoomed in on it. You see it in textbooks and stuff all the time that shows the cells. Give me a little picture off to the side of what their DNA looks like. You can show examples of every single one of these if you spend the time and the effort. And finally, the last one will be kind of an overall assessment of the effort. And if you score well on the rest of these, you know you're going to score well on the bottom one. But this is just, does the amount of work you've done show that you have used the time I've given you wisely, that you have applied yourself and tried to get the most done that you can, or just 3 points, an acceptable amount done? Now, this whole thing will then be taken and it will be scored as a percentage out of 100 points. So you could view each one of these categories as actually worth up to 25 points for how the final grade will look. So spend some time with it. Now, I'd like to show you guys a few examples. The second PowerPoint right here is our samples for the Living Thing project. So here's the first one. This is the Veggie Man. Veggie men live in small societies hidden on the outskirts of human towns. They move around mostly at night to avoid the humans. Now, I've noted that is my line about responding to the environment. They respond to it by trying to avoid humans. We are in their environment. They reproduce only in the spring by planting one limb in the dirt, which then will grow into an adult Vegeman in one season. And that is their reproduction. Vegemen only need water and sunlight like normal plants, materials and energy. The Vegeman's body is composed of plant cells, and their DNA is unlike most other organisms with 5 letters, not just A, T, C, and G, but A, T, C, and G, and O, or something else. All right, now, this project isn't bad. It's bad. We have the basics, but it's only going to get 1 point for characteristics because I've only got 5, even though they're done relatively well. If we take a look back for the picture, and I had put this picture together and then taken a photograph of it, that's pretty good. That shows some creativity and stuff. You're definitely looking at least a 4, maybe a 5 there. If we take a look at the traits, well, do we see traits for moving around mostly at night? You could argue big eyes. That's a sign. Okay. Do we see something about them reproducing using a limb? Not really. Needing only water and sunlight like normal plants? Well, they do have that green color, sure. Composed of plant cells. I don't see any cells. Their DNA is unlike other organisms with 5 letters, but I don't see their DNA. So here we're looking at a 3. Overall, this one would probably be right around a 3. It's acceptable, I guess. It falls short in a couple places, but it goes a little bit over in other ones. All right, here is those that prefer a creepier creature. And this would have been some digital art where I would have modified and changed things around. So this is an Edgelord, Deathstalker, Murder, Death, Die beast. Because, you know, edgelords like to be edgy. It lives in the darkest places out of sight and devours humans in the night. That's its materials and energy, the food that it eats. It makes more, this is short for the full name, by stabbing people with its antlers, which inject an egg. The only thing they fear is the sun. History shows the Native American tribes have a history of this creature, and it was once almost twice as tall. Ooh, that's not bad. That's a good explanation for evolution. Once in 1993, one was captured and tested, and its cells were found to be filled with an unknown poison. All right, once again, if I had to score everything out, the picture looks super good. If that's something that you had created, you should be proud of it. And we're going to be looking at a 5 for the picture. For the characteristics, once again, there's only 5. There isn't 6 here. So that's 1 point. You guys get the idea, hopefully. I've also included one more down here in case. So this is here for anybody to take a look at. If you want examples, here is our turn-in. And I'll also be including a copy and paste turn-in here as well. You have until the end of Friday to complete this project. I will be present in class, as always, every day, all the time, so that if you have any questions, you can come in, you can ask me, you can show me what you've got. I can kind of give you an assessment like that. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have some fun with this. This is the kind of project that really should be creative and interesting, and it should be something that you get to make up yourself. So I hope that makes it more clear, and I hope to see everybody in class. Have a great day.